G'day, welcome back. I'd especially like to welcome my new subscribers, and I hope you enjoy the content of my channel. If you missed the last video, the little what do I spend the money I make from YouTube on, the link up there now. Go watch that first if you're that way inclined. Don't have to watch it if you don't want to. Alrighty, so we made the long drive back from nowhere yesterday, and I can't sit around here doing nothing, so having been bored senseless for a week up there, so follow me over to the bench and I'll show you what I got in mind for a nice big project over there. Alrighty, so just over back behind where I was just standing a moment ago is the drawer. I keep all the cutters and everything in for the mill, along with all the other tools and things that I have for the mill, or mostly for the mill. And in that drawer are a whole heap of end mills that are chipped, and I'm kind of getting tired of buying them. At the moment I have no way of sharpening them, and I cannot possibly afford to buy a tool and cutter grinder. So what you're looking at there is the original Z carriage I built for the lathe, and these two shafts here came out of McPherson struts, and they're just not good enough for this. But I'm going to strip this apart and pinch what I can out of it, especially these two shafts. Possibly not these things, because they're a bit sloppy on there. And I'm going to make my own tool and cutter grinder. Now I have no plans, as per usual, no plans. I'm just going to make this up as I go, based on other tool and cutter grinders I have seen on YouTube and elsewhere. I'll drive it with this little motor that I bought a while back, which is useless. It's a actually this might have come out of one of our washing machines by the looks of it. I do have a new one here somewhere. But that's a little washing machine motor, and I think it should run fast enough, but I'll give it to the right speed regardless. It is a little capacitor start motor and doesn't make anywhere near the sort of noise that my mill makes, or the motor I used to use in the lathe. I still have around 10 kilograms of all that old cast aluminium I bought, so there'll be lots of casting in this thing, including all of the holder for the cutters. I have ordered another ER32 collet, the same as the one I put in the spindling deck. That won't be here for probably another week and a half or so. Got to come from China. So when that gets here, we'll get on with that part of it. But in the meantime, we'll get this thing stripped apart, and I will start to make up the castings and everything that will fit on here, and the ends and all the rest of it. There's a lot of casting work to be done on the bottom here before we ever get up to that level there. So we'll get on with that. Alrighty, so I was lying in bed last night thinking about the first two parts I want to cast up, and how stupid it would be to do it without any drawings, because that would just about be a guarantee to stuff everything up. So this part here, this is the one, the fitting that will sit on the front rail, and you know, as the base for the tool holder. And this one will bolt to that piece there. So this face here will bolt onto here, so that this one can swivel that way. This will also be able to rotate that way on the shaft, and on top of this one I'll make another one up with a little dovetail in it, so that I can make the tool holder adjustable in and out. Anyway, those are the first two parts I'm going to cast up. I won't bore you with making up the foam pieces to cast them with. I'll just show you what I got when I'm done. Alrighty, so these two bits ready for casting tomorrow morning, weather permitting. I actually had this plaster a bit thick today. It needed to be a bit runnier. But anyway, it's on there, and it's set, been out in the sun all afternoon. I didn't show you this the other day. This is what I use. It's a jointing plaster. Just mix it with a bit of water. I'm nearly out of it, so it's partly why it's too thick. I didn't want to end up with too runny and then run out of dry stuff to thicken it back up a bit. But anyway, so they're ready, and weather, like I said, weather permitting, I shall cast them up in the morning. Alrighty, so it's a hot sunny day, and I've poured these this morning, but I have a funny feeling that the one I spent the most time on yesterday is a fail, but anyway, we'll find out. That's the one I thought was a fail, but it's not the main one. It's cool. Alrighty, so I've knocked the ends off these and cleaned them up and deburred them a little bit. They're a bit hairy in places. If you're wondering why this is so long here when that only had a little tab there, I want to bore this in the lathe, and it'll be pretty unbalanced if I only had a little short piece here. So I've left this bit out here so that I can hopefully balance it up better in the lathe. I'll shake the bloody hell out of it while I bore that out to 20 millimeters. I spent a fair bit of time dressing the foam up to get better finishes on here, but I think I might end up putting the rotary table on and just cleaning rounding these off a bit. This bit actually goes on there, it looks a bit wonky, it takes some squaring up that one. Oh, that way, no, this way. It'll go that way to rotate on there. So it'll actually be at the same height there when I machine it up. I've got to say that side was pretty crappy. I had to take an awful lot off that to clean it up. I'm expecting this side to be a whole lot better. Alrighty, so that's about as cleaned up as I want to clean this one up. Alrighty, so outside of rounding that off a bit in the table and that one as well probably, I think that's come up pretty good. I was hoping to get rid of that, but I'll always do it from this side maybe if I have to, because I don't want that influencing where the drill goes. Anyway, that's that bit done. It's lunchtime already, so I'm going to go have some lunch and I'll do start on the other bit. Alrighty, I'd like to once again got rid of that little spot there. That's from where I put on the nail to cut it out. I did try plugging them up with some glue, but that didn't seem to work. So alright, so I've only cleaned up those two faces because I want to use this face to set it up within the lathe. So to make sure it's nice and flat, and I want to just turn this completely round in the lathe and then bore it. Alrighty, so I had every intention of putting this thing in a 4-jaw, but I messed around with it this afternoon and I just couldn't get it to grip it. So I've had to drill and tap the back of it and make up an arbor and screw it onto it. But anyway, it's not too bad balance wise, but this is running out something fierce. Alrighty, so if you wonder why I wanted to turn that like that, it was to make so I can grab hold of this end to bore it out. Now, I've ended up a bit undersized, I don't think it'll matter too much. They're about 2.2 mil smaller than I wanted. It doesn't matter, it'll do. Right, well, I'll get that out of there and clamped up on here and we'll bore it out. Ooh. That's interesting. At this end there, right at the beginning, it's just about 20.1. You go in there, it's 19 point, no, 20. Alright, well, I'm going to leave it at that because I've got to split this anyway, so it could be a little bit tight on the shaft maybe, but I don't want to machine it out anymore. Alrighty, so outside of chopping this bit off and cleaning it all up and drilling it and slitting it and everything else, this bit's just about done, although that's only got a 6mm hole in it and it's got to go out to 8mm, maybe not. No, I'll have to go to 8 because this one's also got a 6mm hole in it. Alrighty, so that's just about that for these two parts for the time being, although I do need to finish cleaning this one up a bit, and this one, up the sides here. Alrighty, so now I'll get the slitting saw out, slit it, and this part will be sort of all but finished except for a bit of dressing up. Well, that was a bit of a stuff up. Forgot to turn the damn camera on. Well, I thought I had actually, but anyway. I'm going to have to finish cutting that through by hand because this won't reach in far enough. But it's only a little bit in the centre I've got to cut out. I'll get out the primitive hacksaw and finish that off. Alrighty, so a bit of a status update. Where are we at? So that's these two parts done. They're clamped up on there, okay. This is not one of the rods I'm going to use. This is out of another McPherson strut. Now, something I've got in mind, and I don't think it's something you normally find on a tool and cutter grinder, is down this end of it, I want to put a lever here, and up this end, I want to make up a bush. And I'll do it out of this bit of stuff. That's out of one of the fish cans. Machine up a bush that this pokes out of the end of it with a nut on it, and inside here there'll be a spring, so that actually I might even do this end yet, I'm not sure. So what will happen is I'll put a lever here, so you set the tool up, and if, you know, you only need, even for a 5/8 to 3/4 cutters, 5/8's the biggest I've got, you only need a stroke of about maybe 10mm at most, right? So that you can pull the lever, pull on the lever, and this will go like that. So you can set it all up, do a stroke, turn it, do a stroke, turn it, do a stroke, you know, so that and it'll be spring loaded, so it will pop back out again when you're done. So that'll be the next part I make. I'll machine this up. Now I need to get out to my favourite scrappies and pick up a steel plate to use as a base and a couple of bits for the ends. So I'll get out there in the next day or so. My God, it's hot here, but in saying that, it's 3 to 5 degrees cooler than it was up in the con nowhere. Up there was 3 temperatures for the whole time we were there. It was either 38, 39 or 40 degrees. But it's bloody hot down here too. But anyway, it's bar day today, so I'm not going to do any more today, and I'll get back into it tomorrow. I'll machine this up. need to part this off, so I can't, there's no sense in turning it all down then parting it off, so I think I'll put the new parting tool on and part the damn thing off. Well, I've got to say that handled that pretty well. I must be happy. Alright, now we can get on with, I'll change that back over and we'll turn it down. I want to turn this down to 30mm. Alright, you've had to change the heart. I'm going to go to, I've gone down to 40.5 rather than 30. It's 40.50, bang on. And I'm going to bore the inside of this out 30mm, because the socket for the nut that I have to screw onto this is 29.6. So if I bored it at 30, the socket will fit up inside. And that'll be perfect. Then I'll end up with a little 3mm wide step inside here, where everything fits up in there. At this point in the video, I'd like to thank my patrons for the continued support. It's greatly appreciated. If you'd like to become a patron, there's a link down in the description. You can sign up down there and toss me a couple of dollars every month. If you don't want to become a patron, there's always Buy Me a Coffee, and there's a QR code on the screen there. You can scan that, or there's always that thanks button down there. Alrighty, I'll get that out of there and I'll cut a spring down and we'll check it out, see how well it works. Alrighty, so I headed out to what was my favourite scrappies this morning, and I need to find that they're reorganising themselves and they've turned more into a recycling centre than anything else. And all that, they used to have a couple of racks with all these different offcuts and bits and pieces in it, and it was quite organised and easy to find stuff. Now they've moved all that over into a different building. It's all just thrown into plastic crates, and I spent ages hunting around there looking for something. But it's about to walk out the door and I spotted this one in the bottom of a crate and pulled it out. It's quite thick. It weighs 12.5 kilograms. It's bloody heavy. It was 20mm thick, yeah, 20mm thick. About a bit over, almost close to 200 wide and a bit over 400 long. Cost me 400 and something baht, which is not bad, about 15 bucks, something like that. Oz, less than that, US. But anyway, I'm disappointed with this. This is cocking a sock in there. I'm going to have to remake that. It needs to be longer here. It needs to have more engagement up in here. And it's got the movement I'm looking for, but it's too bloody loose. That needs to be a nice, neat fit in there. But anyway, so I've stripped that other thing apart. These are the two shafts. So they're the two I'll actually be using. A bit of rust up this end on both of them, but that doesn't matter. But anyway, I think that's about all we've got time for this week. This heat is just killing me. It's hard to concentrate. It's so hot. Feels like temperature today, 42 degrees centigrade. Unbelievable. It's about, I mean, it must be something like 110 or more Fahrenheit. Anyway, I'm going to call it quits for the day, and it's Anzac Day today, a big day for Australia. I'm going to go watch Anzac Day rugby league. So thanks for watching, and I hope you're enjoying this, and come back for part 2 next week, and we'll get on with making some more gear. I couldn't find some bits of steel for the ends, so I might have to make some castings to use on the ends. So that's just more casting to do. But anyway, we'll see where we get to next week. Like I said, thanks for watching, and don't forget, if you enjoyed it, smash that like button. Really helps me out. See you next week. Bye bye.